It looks like Missouri's redrawn congressional map will be on the ballot this November. The group, People Not Politicians, says they collected enough signatures to put it up for a statewide vote. The Secretary of State has not confirmed that just yet. But here's a recap for you real quick on this story. Republican lawmakers redrew the maps at the request of President Donald Trump. He wants to shore up support ahead of this year's midterms so Republicans can keep control of Congress. So they carved up Kansas City into 3 different districts. On the left is the old version of the map, and you can see the 5th congressional district mostly falls along city lines. On the right is the new version, where the 5th district was expanded out east to include more Republican-leaning voters. The goal is to make it harder for Congressman Emanuel Cleaver to keep his seat. Republicans argue the maps will better represent Missouri's conservative values. In recent polling from St. Louis University, it shows more people oppose the new map rather than support it. Now, regardless of the signatures, court battles are still playing out, including one which will decide if lawmakers had the authority to redraw the maps in the first place. Governor Mike Kehoe says he's confident the state Supreme Court will say they do.
Well, the judicial branch will obviously do what they're going to do. We feel very strong in the legal opinions we had moving this fall.
The Secretary of State also still needs to officially validate the referendum. He was not available to comment on this story today. But when he does decide, you can get updates on the KCTV 5 Plus app. You can use it to stream your news for free. You don't even ask for your information to use it. You don't have to fill out anything. Just download it on your Roku, Apple, Fire, or Google TV.